Hey, how are you doing? I'm also going to go live on TikTok in just a minute. Hey, welcome. I'm live on TikTok today, and hey, everyone. How you doing? Hey, how's everybody doing on TikTok? I'm actually live on TikTok today and YouTube. How's everyone doing this afternoon? Good afternoon. How are you? Hey, good afternoon. Hey, Sean, how are you doing? Hey, Chicago's in the house. How are you doing? I'm doing well. Just here on a Saturday, have a day off. Hey, good afternoon. How are you? Hi, is it Buds? Buds, how are you doing? It's Saturday and I'm off today. Well, not really. I'm off, but I still have work to do. Just seeing what everybody else is doing today. Printing notes for class. Okay. I should be preparing for class on Monday myself, but I'm taking a break. I spent the whole morning trying to prepare for class. I'm doing good. How are you? You resting? I need to rest. I got up early this morning and working on some stuff for class Monday. Hi, how are you doing? Oh, you're cleaning. I'm on TikTok as well. I'm on TikTok and on YouTube. You're cleaning. Okay. Hey, how are you doing? Thank you. You said you're preparing your lecture notes. I am was working on my syllabus for today, but or for Monday, sorry. But thank you for the follow. Hey from California. Chilling on the couch. That's what I'm sitting to right here on the couch. I was working on some stuff and I was like, you know what? I need a break. I'm doing well today. I'm just trying to debate if I'm going to go out to the movies tonight or if I'm going to stay home and work on my stuff for work next week. But I'm lazy today. I've been working since 7 o'clock this morning, 7:30, I think, working on some stuff. Thank you. Thank you so much. So you were studying and taking a break? I wasn't studying, but I was preparing for classes next week, and I'm taking a break too. Trying to get the syllabus together for the last minute. At the last minute, I'm still kind of working on a few things at the same time. But I just thought I would come on here, see what y'all are up to. Well, that made me smile. You said now that you're here, that made me smile. Oh, okay. Studying the word. We in this unprecedented times, we need some of that. You said it for your ministry class. Okay. We need some of that. Scripture and motivation and words of affirmation. We need that every day, especially to do what's going on right now. Thank you for the follow. That and a chill pill. What's going on with everybody? No nursing questions today. Typically, I have nursing questions. Thank you for the follow. Thank you. I think it will. Yeah. Do I think COVID will change the practice of nursing in the future? I think that we will be wearing masks for a very in the hospital setting. That I think we'll be wearing masks for a very long time. I don't think the mask thing will go away anytime soon. That's just my thoughts. That's not based on research or nothing like that. Um, it's already changed the practice of nursing now, so I know that it's going to be more changes in the future because now we're dealing with the fact of whether people want to vaccinate or not want to vaccinate, and then we have people suing, trying to not get vaccinated, but they're losing. Um, so I think it's already changed the face of nursing, and I think it's going to continue to change in the future. Yeah, I think that the COVID vaccine will be something we'll have to probably get every single year, just like the flu shot. And I could be wrong on all this, but that's just something that I'm guessing um, that we'll be required to get this every single year because they're already talking about the booster currently. So okay, Derek, you're working. All right. Hey, how are you doing? For the governor's executive order. What state are we talking about for the governor's executive order? Oh, you said that you think they're playing us. I don't know. That's what people are saying that it's a conspiracy. Some people are saying that it's not. You don't know what to believe. You just have to go with what the facts are and do your research and decide what you want to do. But what executive order? Which governor are you talking about? Are you talking about here in Tennessee? Oh, Tennessee. Now tell me, get me up to date on Tennessee then, because I don't know what's going on here in Tennessee. I'm not well versed, evidently. What we say we have to do? Wear a mask, or what we doing? Are we all have to get vaccinated, or what's going on? Oh, are they? I'm on just on TikTok. Hey, I'm on actually on YouTube as well right now. You said they're offering the booster for immunocompromised individuals. Are they really? Okay, I didn't know that. I know they're offering the boost, not the booster. I know they're offering or recommending we do this now for pregnant women. I know they have been added to where they can go ahead and get the vaccine. Pregnant women are. Will booster be given to those that have been vaccinated or just at risk? Yeah, that's what I'm trying to find out. What order? Nashville? Where? Yeah. Well, the person said governor, so governor would be for the entire state, where the mayor would be for Nashville. So, governor, what is the governor saying? And then will the booster be given to those? I was told the booster will be for pretty much everyone, not just those at risk. So a lot of people, when they did their titers, got their titers drawn. A lot of people have found out that they are actually non-immune. They got their titers drawn, due to even having the vaccine and or having the COVID itself, and they found out that some of people don't even have immunity to it, so they're having to get the booster for those people. Executive Order Line 83, he gave permission to build. Oh no, Governor Lee, yeah, okay. No, I didn't know that. Isolation camps. No, I did not know that. Okay, well, how y'all find this out about Tennessee and I didn't even know this? Do y'all all live in Tennessee or is it on national news? One apply, show you vaccination cards. Yeah. Okay. Now that part, I know that part. I know they are wanting to, next thing you know, for a lot of the venues here, just to go out for recreation is requiring it, the vaccine. Y My opinion about the nurse shortage, I don't think there's a shortage. What I think that is there's shortage on bedside. We have over 4 million nurses here in the country, in the U.S. We have 4 million nurses, roughly 4 million nurses here in the United States, and so I feel like the shortage is what you're seeing is at the bedside. We are leaving bedside left and right. That we were already leaving anyway, but then you already add to the fact that we just had this COVID situation. It makes it that much worse. So people are leaving bedside, and we have the second round coming up of the Delta variant, and then we have the Lambda variant as well. Like I'm not doing this again. The nurses are like, I'm not doing this again. So we are even here in Tennessee or Middle Tennessee a shortage of beds and everything else. So I just think it's going to be, I don't think there's a shortage in that sense, but I think there's a true shortage otherwise, the bedside. So I do know there's a lot of. Thank you so much, Jasmine. I think we have a lot of politicians, actually physicians. Believe it or not, we have politicians that are lobbying politicians who are voting different directions. Shall I say? Okay, in Texas, you're doing for the immunocompromised people. I don't know what they're doing here. I just know that there's people who haven't even there's people who have not even have immunity and they got the actual vaccine and they're supposed to get the booster. But I feel like we'll see what happens here in the future. Nurses in IT, we work 24. Feels like, yeah, you're right. None in the state. Wow. Okay. Oh yeah, nurses been tired of administration. Admin is always an issue because admin is working under your executives, and your executives are working for the corporations, and the corporations do not have nurses and nursing interests in sight. So even though you have a chief nursing officer a lot of times in your hospital settings, the CNO is not really working for the nurses. They're supposed to be a liaison or someone who kind of has the nurses back, and they do not typically. So yeah, I'm not a fan of admin typically. So it is a problem. I know. You see, you started nursing school during the pandemic. It's been tough. I could imagine. I could imagine it's been tough. I could imagine. And it's going to get, this next semester is going to be even worse. Who's the largest landowner? Bill Gates. Oh, okay. I'm not well versed on him either. I mean, I know who he is. Outside of that, I don't know. Thank you. Thank you so much. I am on TikTok and YouTube. So on YouTube, if you're there and you have questions, feel free to ask questions. I'm on two different platforms here. Hey, Dr. Williams, how are you doing? Thank you. Thank you so much. Yes, the Lambda, Lambda, Lambda variant. I'm doing good. I was working earlier today and then I decided to take a break and get on here and do some just to see what everybody else was doing. So, how are you doing in Vegas? Hey, on YouTube, if you have questions, I'm on TikTok as well today live. So if you have questions, I'm just manning both of these at the same time. So just ask your questions. Another what variant? Yeah, the Lambda, LAM, LAMDA. I think it's LAM Lambda. Yeah, to not wear your mask. I'm gonna have to. The mask thing, I'm wearing my mask. I don't care what anybody's saying. I have to wear my mask because if anything, I do think I do think they will approve eventually the vaccine for children. I don't know how soon, but I know they're working on that for children. And that's the reason why a lot of us are getting vaccinated because we have children who can't be vaccinated yet. And because they cannot be vaccinated yet, we like for my child, I have a 9-year old. He can't get vaccinated, so I think that I have to get vaccinated or to protect him. And so I don't know how long it's going to be for children to get it, but it's coming. They'll probably have it either this fall or early spring. I think COVID with us. So to the question, how long do I think it'll be around? It's going to be with us, I think, for a while. King Rez, your skills come such a friend. So right now we are not requiring. Yes, actually, I take that back. Depending on the site that we go to, um, they are requiring some people to get vaccines. So Vanderbilt is a large hospital here who requires vaccinations for everybody. So the students who are going to Vanderbilt will have to be vaccinated, but the ones who are going to some other locations who don't require it, they don't have to be vaccinated, but they do have to get tested every week. And the problem with that is the testing the student has to pay for. So we're not sure how that's going to work out right now with that going on because students can't afford to get tested every single week. A lot of our students can't anyway, and pay for their own test and wait for those results to bring to clinical. So right now, yeah, it's not a requirement for all of our students, but it's coming that way. Let's see. Yeah, so I do think COVID will be around for a while. I think it's just going to be like the flu. I think it's going to be like the flu, where it's going to come in peaks and waves. How flu is always around. Even flu, you can get the flu in the winter, in the summertime. We just don't get it often. It's always closer to the wintertime. So I think flu will be around. I mean, COVID will be around for a while. I'm from Tennessee. Let's see. I think will minimize. I think the mask will minimize exposure. So will it keep you safe? No, no, nothing. Will it won't keep you completely safe. So I won't sit there and tell that lie. But I think it minimizes the risk. It's no different. Think about this. You talking about does the mask keep you safe? Um, Totally off the topic, but does the condom keep you from getting pregnant? It's not 100%. Condoms don't prevent you from getting pregnant 100% of the time because it's not 100% effective. So I wouldn't say the mask is 100% effective, but I think it does minimize the risk of us um, passing or getting this particular virus and other ones, evidently. You said it's stopping us from on a date. You are actually in Vegas at the moment, so you traveling. You got me laughing over here. You traveling. So if you're traveling, you can travel to Tennessee. Yeah, everybody has an opinion, but I just think that the masks are helping requirement just about every building that you go into, or at least it's a requirement here that we wear a mask when we're around people. So it just depends on what you believe. But I do wear my mask when I'm around people. I do have my kids wearing their mask when they're around people. Right now our schools are pre-K schools, not pre-K, but our regular schools are not requiring uh masks, but I have my children wear them anyway because mine are susceptible to getting sick anyway. So everybody has to do what's good for them or what their laws require them to do. But that's just kind of how I see that. I'm just gonna make sure that I take all the precautions I can to minimize my risk of passing something to my kids. So that's kind of how I look at that. Dr. Fossey has 10 different things up and down. Who My ICU unit is full of who've done COVID and they're Yeah, they're fighting for life. So that's why I said, "Good afternoon. How are you doing?" So I think it just depends on the person and where you're at. I just feel like you got to do what's good for you. I'm gonna do what's good for me. If they mandate that you wear something, you have to either comply or you're not gonna comply. But I have to protect my kids, and that's just kind of how I look at that. And anything that's going to help lower, because again, nothing is 100%. The vaccine is not even 100%, mind you. So nothing's 100%. So the more things we can do to lower our risk of getting this, the better off I think we would be. So that's just my personal opinion on it. After Paul, you know what? Thank you. I think that when it comes to the mask situation, why some of these governors, mayors, senators are not pushing for it, because it's about money. Who's paying the money for them to, who it's about money. It's about money. If you think about the states who did not buy into any of this, who stayed open, who have typically the higher rates of this virus passing, were all people who were have some type of agenda monetary wise that they're getting, I don't say getting paid for. There's money involved somewhere as to why some people are saying not to wear a mask. We even have a preacher here in the city that I live in that they say the exact same thing, not to wear the mask, and their followers are actually listening to the pastor. So it just depends on your situation. Hey, on YouTube, I'm actually doing live on YouTube and TikTok today. So if you have questions, just post them. I'm answering questions on both sides over here. Let's see. People in more polluted countries have been wearing. That is true. They have been. You remember Michael Jackson wore a mask when he was live. He wore a mask all the time too. I think he had a condition though. Do I believe anything the CDC says? I think that there is lies hidden in some truth. I will say that. I can't say that everything that they say is actually wrong, especially if they have research to back it up. I do think they made a mistake when they told people to stop wearing their masks because they thought we were in the clear when we're not. I mean, for as far as the mask, when I think about wearing a mask versus losing my life, I'll put the mask on. Have I seen any of your comments? Nuh-uh, I haven't. I'm sorry. You're invited, Dr. Williams. Put Tennessee on your calendar. Did you receive scholarships or grants to pay for? No, I did not. So to pay for my DMP program, I actually saved the money and I did a payment plan. So my no scholarships, no grants. There's typically not a whole lot of money for graduate school. So if you find money for graduate school, that's great. But typically, there's not a lot of money for graduate school. So what I would recommend is basically I saved my money for my DMP program, and I went on a payment plan. So I basically paid the university $1,200 a month for a period of time, and then when the classes were over, I was done paying that semester off. So they put me on a payment plan, and that really helped me stay on track, stay on budget, and not take out as much loans. Now, my first year of my DMP program, I did take out loans. I was in school for 3 years, so one loan for 1 year, and then I paid out of pocket for the second 2 years. And my tuition was a total of $56,000, just so you know. So $56,000 divided by 3 years is what I paid, and I paid the last two out of pocket. Let me see. Hold on. Let me see. I can't read that far. Do you believe? I don't think. You said you haven't been worried about it. It's not like the bubonic plague. But are you concerned that like over 600,000 people have died? Does that is it Dr. Ha 44? Are you concerned about that? I haven't seen your comments, BB. Hold up. My comments are going too fast. Dr. Williams, you have the invite. Yeah, I want to minimize. That's what I'm going to do. Okay, what about my videos? I'm sorry, I missed it. Well, the thing is, okay, so when it comes to you realize you said that we're being lied to. I don't think that there's 100% truth in anything that anybody says, to be honest with you. So I'm not completely hoodwinked on the situation. I just don't buy into everything. But we will, as they say, the it'll come out in the wash, as we say, as old people say, it'll come out in the wash. But until we have proof otherwise, I'm gonna wear my mask. I have to protect my child at the end of the day. Were you able to work during? I worked. So as far as my DMP program, I did work some. I cut my hours back, and once I started my clinicals, I had to cut them back even more. So when you have clinicals, make sure you have the ability to cut your hours back and have money saved, because clinicals are during the week, obviously, and so I had to work during the week. So just, yeah, you want to make sure that you have money saved. I did work some, and it's supposed to be a program for working adults. However, when clinicals came, it was no joke. I had to go ahead and cut my hours back at work. I went back to part time while I was on my DMP my second year. My last year and a half, I did part time work. You think Americans are just too selfish to care about one? You know what? Some of them are. We had a video, and it actually went on national. We had a video from a county that's close here in Tennessee, where the people were taunting people for wearing masks. It was in Williamson County here in Tennessee, where it's close to where I live at. Um, so yeah, I think people are really doing a lot. You said COVID is a moving target. I like how you put that. Thank you, Love Getting Cash. I appreciate that. Um, a moving target. I agree with you on that. Yeah, well, that's what I did. I did use a payment plan. That's the only way that I could pay for my degree without taking a lot of student loan debt. I'm not really into. I already have student loans, so I don't want to take a whole lot of debt out. So I paid out of pocket, and then I just paid the rest um, on my outside of pocket. I see that over 90% of the current COVID admissions are unvaccinated. I know people on food stamps. Now that I believe. You said the people on food stamps and government will have to show. I believe it. I believe it. I believe it. I think they're gonna do that. Hey, that boy, how are you doing? Yeah, it's gonna come out in the wash. That's why I say I can't say that I agree with everything the CDC is saying or doing. I can't say I agree with it 100%. I'd be lying to you if I did. I do think some things are factual based, but I think sometimes some things are hidden. I think there's some hidden agenda somewhere. But right now, I can't point out to you what they are. I don't know. But it's just like a feeling that I have. Like something's not right, but I can't tell you what it is yet. Same thing as intuition. I don't know yet, but we'll find out. It's gonna come out in the wash. I think I'll have to cut back and start working when I do my clinical. Yeah, you probably will. When you do your clinical, you have to set back. It's hard. It's very hard to work full time and go to and do clinicals at the same time. Watch what the next 60 days go from COVID to Delta to something else. You know what? Right. So Dr. Hoff, the Lambda is the next one. So Lambda, and then of course they're gonna go through the whole alphabet with those. Research World Economic Forum. Okay, I'll do that. I believe that too. You said the media is bought. So, like for instance, some news. Okay, I don't per se even trust. So I tend to basically watch, you know, our local Channel 5 here. Um, so we'll see. Some things I'm like, okay, well, let me just do my own research on to see what's really going on. Hey YouTube, I am on live on YouTube and TikTok. So if you happen to have a question over here, I'm answering questions on both of them. I'm trying to, as a nurse, we kind of have to keep an open mind. I'm not buying when people say, no, the one thing that I'm having a hard time with overall is about the fact that we don't have any longitudinal studies about the outcomes of the vaccination. We can see what it's doing currently. We can see what the vaccination is doing currently, but we don't have any studies because it's only been out for less than a year to say what the long-term effects are going to be um, with this vaccine. That's the part that scares me. That's what I want to know. Like, what are the long-term effects? And right now, we don't know because of the fact that we can't. Um, it hasn't been enough time. It hasn't even been a year yet, so we don't know the long-term effects. Even when they reported on the news just yesterday, they put on the news yesterday um, that they are now recommending that pregnant women get the vaccine, and in the caption it said, as they know, as of right now, it does not cause miscarriages. Well, as of right now, it may not cause miscarriages. We don't know because we don't know the long-term effects. It may cause some other type of issues. We don't know that yet. So they're still doing data, collecting data. We're still in the collecting data stage, but at the same time, it's kind of like, well, we don't know what the outcomes are going to be. And that's the scary part to me. We don't know the outcomes yet. We just know what the today, here, and now is showing us. So it's scary. The problem is in the beginning is that we all try to do it. Right, you're right. Hey, Nurse Ultron, how you doing? You see, we have 289 COVID patients, hospitalizations at my hospital, currently 115 in the ER waiting for. Wow. Are you still in? Okay, where are you at? California, Nurse Ultron, where are you at? Does the vaccine not dissipate in 2 to 3? What do you mean 2 to 3? What? Supreme Court ruling states the vaccines alters DNA. Okay. Where's the data? Where do we go to find that information at to support to find it? Oh, you're in Dallas. Okay, it's 2:30 and you have witnessed 4 pregnant mothers die this morning. Oh my gosh. Emergency C-section. The baby survived. Did they have COVID or did they get the vaccine? So I guess they had COVID. That's what I'm saying. It's serious. That's the reason why people are asking me over here, do I think the mask is something that we need to be doing? I'm gonna take the chance. All had COVID. Okay. And do you happen to know if anybody was vaccinated but still caught COVID, or they just had COVID? They didn't get vaccinated. Because now pregnant women can get vaccinated now. Oh, okay. I didn't know that. Thank you. Let me see if I can see. Thank you. You said your mom just sent me one of your TikTok. Your mom just sent you one of my TikToks. Well, thank you. I'm glad she did. I'm glad she did. Oh, okay. So you said two of the moms were fully vaccinated and they still died of COVID, and they got the babies out. Okay. So see, this is what I'm saying. That's the reason why I said we don't know the long term. We don't know the long term effects of these medications. That's why it scares me. Like we don't know the long term effects, and you're saying that you have witnessed two moms passing away as a result of getting COVID when two of them were fully vaccinated, and so you still don't know what the long term effects of the babies are going to be. We don't know how the babies are going to end up. The babies are fine right this minute, so we that's kind of what I'm saying. It's just frustrating to me that, and I think that's why we have a lot of distrust right now. People are like, I don't know about that because I don't know. And then of course the Tuskegee experiment. So Alabama currently ranks as the state with the lowest amount of vaccinations, or fully vaccinated citizens population, and that is exactly what the experiment happened within our lifetime. So I'm like, these people ain't trusting the CDC, the governor, nobody else. They not trusting nobody. Okay, you're getting your DMP. Okay, good. Yeah, good. Yeah, I have my DMP. Thank you for watching them, though. I really appreciate you. Thank you for watching. Thank you for sharing my live. I appreciate you. Yes, yes, yes. I deal with all that. You're right, King Ryan. So it is a risk either way, and I think that's the part that I think that we have to play. What's the lesser of the two evils here? So, like for instance, I was very hesitant about like I don't really want to wear my mask. I don't want to do this and the other, but I protect my kids, and I got to protect myself. So just like I was using the condom example, a condom is not 100% effective either to prevent STIs and to prevent pregnancy. However, a condom will reduce your risk of either having a baby or making somebody pregnant and or getting STDs. So the mask is the same thing. It's not 100% effective, but it's going to minimize our risk of getting this particular virus and others. Really think about it. Did y'all notice that last year the flu was not a big deal? They were not really talking too much about the flu last year. That's a lot of stuff. That you know what? That's kind of how it is. The race education, people don't want to speak on it. Let me see if I say your name right. Is it? I can't say. I don't want to mess your name up. But a lot of people don't want to speak on it. But I'm going to speak on any race issue that I have. I'm going to speak on it. That's what I'm saying. The flu wasn't talked about last year, and people had the flu. I think people were just trying to chop it up into some COVID or whatever. They weren't talking about the flu last year. Now we still got our flu shots, mind you, but nobody's talking about the flu last year. Zure. Okay, thank you, because I don't want to mispronounce your name. So yeah, I'm someone who definitely will speak on race issues in nursing education. The how hard it is for us to even get higher education, or they always want to change the bar. So they set a bar for us and for everybody. And then when we meet and or exceed that bar, they want to change the finish line. So now that I have a doctorate, as you know, now I'm not a doctor because I'm not a medical doctor. Well, who said medical doctors are the only kind of doctors out there? See, that's the ignorant people that we're talking about. Like, okay, so be ready for that, Zure. Be ready for that. Where your doctorate is not good enough because of the fact that you're not a medical doctor, as if being a medical doctor is exactly where it's at. There's more than one kind of doctor. We need to get with that. But some people are so like brainwashed, and that's what kills me. And even our own people are sometimes even brainwashed to be like, you know what? Um, you need to stay quiet. I'm like, no, I'm not staying quiet about nothing because my issue is if I stay quiet, that's exactly what they want us to do. They want us to be quiet. Think about the slave. If you ain't been, we never been slaves. Our ancestors were. However, we know if you watch those movies, what did they didn't want you speaking. They didn't want you talking. So what did they have to do? They had to sing songs to tell messages within the song, or they would hum, or they would do different things like that. So, that's what they want you to do is be silent. So then black people are coming to tell me, well, you just ignore them, be quiet. No, 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 no. I'm not gonna be quiet because that's exactly what gives them permission to continue their narrative. Not with this one over here. Not with Dr. Marita P. They're not gonna continue, not with me. Because if you actually start reading some of those comments, you'll see that a lot of the people in there, we'll go back and forth for a minute, but then eventually the trash will take itself out. So that's how I see that. The trash takes itself out eventually. So yes, you say you're so young, and see the thing is, I look young, so I get downplayed too because before I open my mouth, when people see me initially, they think I'm in my 20s, maybe late 20s, and then I open my mouth. They're like, okay, well, she got to be older than her 20s because she know too much. And then I say how old my kids are. They're like, okay, well, how you got kids 23 years old and you look like you only about 20 something yourself? So I always get that too, where I look young. So I think people take me for granted a lot of times. And because I look a certain way, and I'm like, no, I'm old enough to be some of y'all's mamas the way y'all talking. They don't realize that. Any chance that they love saying? Yep, they will. And don't be professional about it. Be professional about it, but don't tolerate it. You're professional about it, but I don't tolerate nonsense. Did they? Okay. See, that's what I'm saying. He said the black don't crack. It sure don't. And if it do crack, we done had a really rough life. But yeah, that's what I'm saying. We get downplayed all the time. Our degrees are not valid. But let you be dying. Nurse Ultron, let them be literally dying and see what happens. Let them be literally dying and see if they change their mind. And some of them won't steal. Some of them just assume to die. They don't want you bothering them. Thank you, Aquarian, for follow. They think blacks got to be dumb and dumb. Yeah, because that's what they want us to think. They want people to think. They want people to think that we now some of us do play into that dumbness. Some blacks do play into that dumbness pretty good. But we all, that's a stereotype. We're not all dumb and we're not all lazy. That's stereotypes that people go on. That's not all of us. We're not all dumb. We're not all lazy. We will work and we work very hard and we're educated. We can go as high as we want to go. So got up and helped. I would have went back. You know what? I would have been so mad, but I would have went back to my seat too. I would have back to my seat too. So you saying they went back to their seat? The two physical therapists helped the person, but they see somebody's sick and you appeared. You wanna play cards on which race you want to help somebody. Nurse Ultron, that gets on my nerves when people do that. I agree. The 9 out of 10 they're unvaccinated, and the thing is, I understand why. You ever heard of our what? It speaks volumes, but what about the ones who the thing is the thing is it does speak volumes, but keep in mind, even if you get the vaccine, you can still pass this to somebody else. My issue is the people who got the vaccine, who've taken the mask off and now refuse to put the mask back on, as if they're just not going to do it. They're not going to wear the mask. Okay, but you can still catch COVID yourself even with having the vaccine and pass it to somebody else. Thank you, Yvette. Thank you for. I love the fact that you are here. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. Lucy who? Have you ever heard of Lucy? Lucy who? Thank you for the follow. Hey, on YouTube, I'm on YouTube and TikTok, so I'll answer any questions you have. I'm actually following both of them at the moment, and we're talking about us basically about race issues and COVID and just us helping people and some people not choosing our help because of the fact that you were minorities and things like that. In addition to that, we're also talking about the fact that this virus is changing and spreading, and we have new variants now. We have the Lambda, we have, of course, the Delta variant as well. Oh, I'm sure they do. I don't know if it's King Ray or King Raw, but I'm sure they do. I'm sure they do. I've seen plenty on TikTok who still had to explain that they're a physician, and they have a big old, how we have RN tags on our license, or not on license, on our badges that says RN. I saw this one lady; she had to go put her a doctor one on hers because of the fact that people did not believe she was a doctor. Every time she walks into the room, there's the tray, there's trash. Are you the nurse? Are you such and such? Are you the tech? And she said, "No, I'm your doctor." And so she would have to go do that. So she has this. They have the same issues we do. I'm sure they do. I know they do. Okay, let me see. Sorry. Baber baby is the Arabic word for which I can pronounce, which means lover, sweetheart. Oh no, I didn't know that. Hey, EDRN. Sis can't dance. How are you doing today? Let me get my glasses. I can't even see. My pleasure. My DMP journey. Okay, so it was rough. It was rough. So I started school in 2017. I went to a Christian school, private school. So the Christian part of it was, um, you know, I am religious, but I didn't realize they was gonna pray every single time we had class, but that is a Christian school for you. But it was a challenge because I was going part time, so I was taking one class at a time, and then I had been out of school for probably about 10 plus years. So getting back acclimated to going to school and having children to navigate with, it was kind of hard in that sense because I was trying to navigate having kids and well, not having them, I already had them, but taking care of children. I had a baby going. He wasn't a baby. He was going to kindergarten at the time, and I don't think I realized how much work you have to do with kindergartners. So I was thinking, once he gets to school, I'll be fine. No, I was wrong. I tell people, if you have kids who have to rely on you for a lot, it's going to be harder for you, but it can still be done. Not so much the education portion because Oh, so the rest of it, yeah, the rest of it was rough. Yeah, because the thing is, I was working at the same time. So yeah, education part was rough too. But in terms of taking care of kids, trying to do my homework, trying to still work, and then the pandemic hit, and that's changed the whole game. But for me, because I still had to do clinicals, but and I still had to do things for school, and I still had to work. We were all adjusting to all that. So I graduated during the pandemic, or during the peak of it, last year when you couldn't do this, you couldn't do that. We were changing from in class to online. It was a lot. It was a lot. You said you don't think it's a coincidence they're showing John Legend? Hey, how you doing? I'm okay. Yeah, if any kids, then don't. One thing I tell all students, if you are especially in nursing school, the one thing I say about when you're going to nursing school specifically is if you stay away from certain situations, stressful situations, don't get pregnant, don't get married, don't buy a house, and don't get a divorce. Not while you're in school. Let that stuff wait until after you finish school because it's very hard to navigate all those things while you're in school. So definitely do that. Don't get pregnant if you can. Keep from it. Don't what I say. Don't get a divorce. Don't get married. And don't buy a house. So anything that's very stressful while you are in school, let that stuff go because your time and energy needs to be focused on getting through school on school only. About how many classes, clinicals for the master's program? For my master's program, it was 38 credit hours, I think it was. And for my master's program, I had to do 320 clinical hours. And then for my doctorate, I had to do 600 clinical hours. So like we actually do clinicals in our master's and doctoral programs. So yeah, the clinicals were a bit much. So 600 for my DMP, and you have to check school because every school is not the same. So check the school, but mine was 600 for my doctorate and 320 for my master's. And to graduate, you have to have a total of 1,000 post baccalaureate hours. So to graduate with your doctoral degree, we had to have a total of 1,000 post baccalaureate hours. Hey, Justin Pate, how you doing? Oh, what happened? You packed your bags and everything. I'm facing some adversity here. They made me. What happened? You said you almost threw in the towel and left university today. Okay, well don't let them get you off your block now. Okay, good. Don't let them get you off your block. I don't know what happened or if you even can discuss it, but don't let them shake you up to, you got to remember, you got to play checkers when they playing, no. You got to play chess when they're playing checkers. So come up, you figure out what's going on and figure out how to beat them at their own game. That's what you got to do. You playing um checkers, I mean, goodness, you're playing chess while they playing checkers. So what happened? Oh, you go to a private. Okay, so that's where I went to a private school. So the education portion is take your time if they let you get you an accountability partner. So if you got you an accountability partner, like I always found like one or two students that I could just sit there and talk to and rely on for help. And that's what me and her went back and forth, and we like, did you do your discussion forums this week? And she would say yes or no. Okay, well, let me get on mine. I would find that one student that I trusted, and they helped me figure things out when I couldn't go to the instructor because sometimes the instructors are kind of intimidating, and they don't really want to. Well, they're not intimidating to me. They just don't want to help, and I'm kind of like, okay, I'm paying $3,000 per class in my private school. You gonna help me do something? So if I didn't go to them, I would always go to one of my classmates who was good about helping. Um, Which part of the plan that you're going to get an accountability partner? Get you an accountability partner. It really helps. And then I will always stay on top of everything. At the beginning of the semester, make sure that you put down in your calendar everything that you have to do. So get your planners, get your syllabus out, your syllabi out, get your planner out, and write down when everything is due, and write down when you're going to plan on start doing your projects or start doing your assignments and things or papers and things. Just have a plan, have a study time, make sure and you stick to it. I personally found that for like when I took epidemiology, I had to go to the library to study. My kids will not let me study here at the house. They were always mama this, mama that, just asking me questions. And epidemiology is not my strong subject. So if it's a subject for you that is not your strong subject, go to the library or go somewhere where you can be kind of quiet so that you can do the work. Let's see. The fossil was found in East that was over millions. No, I haven't heard about that. I hadn't heard about Lucy. Okay, I hadn't heard about that. Be selfish with your time. Yes. Okay, that sounds about right. For the BSN to DMP, that's right. For 700, yeah, that's about right. I did because I did 600, like I said, for the DMP and three something for the other one. So, and I took my master's separately. So, but you're getting your master's classes, but you're doing it differently. Okay, yeah, your accountability partner definitely helps. Okay, good. So yeah, just plan ahead and just plan ahead. Just plan ahead because, like I said, and then make sure that when it comes to group work. Now, I don't know if your program is going to require you to do group work, which I hate. I loathe group work. Now, mind you, I assign it to my students, but I hate personally group work on my own. Um, because you need to find a group of people who are just as hardworking as you. You don't want to find someone, or if they assign groups, especially if they assign groups, you just have to deal with it, I guess. But if they don't assign groups, you find a group of people that you all work together very well. And if y'all are matriculating through the program together over the next so many years, then keep that group every single time. That's what I learned. I keep my same group every single time when or kept my same group. We all knew each other's strong points and weak points. We had one guy, he was a procrastinator, but when he pulled his stuff together at the very end, even though that's what he did, when he pulled it together, he pulled it together. I mean, he may take the previous 24 hours to get it done, um, but he got it together. So we kept him in the group because he did his work. I mean, it'd be take him forever to get it done, but he got his work done. So find you people that you do when you do group work that you're kind of like, okay, you know everybody's strong points, you know everybody's weak points, and you all can work together. Because I hate when you say, okay, we're gonna get this done by this date, and then you can even make contact with half the people in the group. I can that. Yeah, they want to float off your work in the same grade. You're all getting the same grade, so I hate that. I'm like, okay, I worked very hard, and you up here getting the A because we worked hard. Nope. I will sit there and tell the instructor, just so you know, such and such is not helping us in this project, but I want to let you know that because I do not want to be anything taken off. It's not fair they get the same grade we get when they haven't even did anything to contribute besides the title page that we could have did on our own. So, I'm gonna report it. Oh, okay, yeah. It takes a big person to do that, Mr. Pate. I will have to say it takes a big person to do that. I admire you. I admire you because you know what? You look at the bigger picture here. Now, what I would do is um, keep up, Mr. Pate, with dates and times things occur. If any kind of proof that you can get that things occur, so that you can take it to somebody. And I mean, you're allowed to record. So let's say, for instance, you're having a conversation with somebody and it's getting ugly, and you have your phone on record. You're allowed to record it and say, "Okay, this is my proof that I'm being, you know, bullied." That's called bullying. That's called bullying, Mr. Pate. That's what that is. So don't let them. I admire you for doing what you did. How much longer you got in this program? That's my question. How much longer you got in this program? Because if it's something you can put up with until you get out and just know, don't be that kind of nurse yourself, then that's fine. But that's sad. I'm sorry that you went through that, Mr. Pate. But just know that you have people to support you. But yeah, I would take notes and just say, you know what, this is how I'm being treated. And if there is somebody you're taking doing work with, I would definitely probably try to avoid being in groups with that person or those group of people in general. Um, I hate to even ask what they said about you because I don't understand. Especially you're going through the same things that women go through, and typically men don't have to go through that. Not, but typically y'all don't go through the same thing that these catty women do to other women. You have the content in the video. Okay, I'll have to look into that. I'm gonna look into that. Yeah, I know that's what they do. When they'll sit there and take credit for everything, and then they don't do anything. Oh, I'm sorry. I don't know what's going on with the audio. It says I have a good connection, so I'm not sure what it is. Right, you're the contributor, get out the group. And then they'll be the same ones who will say, you know what, well, I'm busy with work. Well, we all working. Or I have kids. Well, a lot of us have kids. Like they have these excuses like, no, that don't work for me. Um, you can have your kid, we all got some of the same responsibilities and don't change anything. So we all have to be mindful and respectful of that. Mr. Pate, I'm just going to pray for you that you remain calm like you did this situation. Because for me, I think I probably would have not been the nicest myself. I wouldn't have been as nice. Right. Right. We all have life. We all have situations. And I always say we all have a story. We're all going through something. And it may be not your something, but we all go through something. So like we all stress, we're all tired, we all trying to get through this together. Which is why it's important for you to find an accountability partner who's going to keep you grounded on, when you're losing it, when you need to vent, when you need to cry. I remember our instructor saying the very first day of school that my office is open for when you need to cry, is what she said. I will have tissues for you for when you need to cry, not if, but for when you need to cry. And so I remember that. So and there was plenty of days that I needed to cry, that I'm like, okay, I can't do this, I can't do this. So I remembered I had to remain disciplined when I lost my motivation, and I lost my motivation quite often. And that's the same thing is true about nursing school. You will lose your motivation quite often, but you have to remain disciplined no matter what. So yeah, because I know there's times where I'm like, okay, I can't finish this program. I can't finish it. Then I said, well, I have to finish it. Now I done put too many thousands of dollars into it. I have to finish it. So remain, like I said, remain disciplined when you lose motivation, and that's going to require some prayer. That's going to require some self care where you're like, I need to get away for a little while. I need to go to the gym. I need to work out. I need to go to a concert. I need to do whatever. What makes it hard with this whole COVID situation going on is that uh, we ain't gonna be able to get out and do the things we wanted to do. Because I mean, I have a feeling we're gonna end up closing things back down again, or a lot of places are gonna require everybody to show vaccination proof when they come into come into these venues. So if people who don't get vaccinated, they can't go nowhere hardly anyway. If that's what it becomes. Oh goodness. Okay, if it was that bad that you would have been arrested, then yeah. Thank you for the following January Joy. Um, yeah, keep tallying, keep track, and then just pray, and then because I don't want to I don't want you to have to go to jail, and the thing is they're not worth it. And Mr. Pate, let me tell you something. They are doing that to get you to react. So I'm not saying there's nothing wrong with reacting, but if they get you to act a fool, they have did what they tried to do to get you out that program. Remember that. Keep that in your mind too. They are trying to get you to react. So and react in a way in which is going to get you out the program. So you're posing a threat because there's something about you they don't like, and I mean that, and I mean that as a compliment to you. But that's what they do. Anytime, because keep in mind, thieves don't break into empty houses. Thieves don't break into empty houses. Think about that. So if the thieves are not breaking into empty houses, that means you have something of substance as to why they got to come put you down. Yep, look at it that way. Let's change our mindset here. It's something about you that they don't like, and it's because you're doing something great. And they don't, and believe me, if you ever came over to TikTok and find me on TikTok, you will see how much hate I get. I get hate all the time over here on TikTok because they're like, "Oh, you're not a doctor," because I'm not a medical doctor. Okay, well, medical doctor ain't just what the only kind of doctor is. You're gonna always have that kind of hate. But the thing is, the people who really are unbothered about you, people who don't care about you, they may not like you, but they wouldn't even be effort or energy into you because it's not worth their time. So anybody who's gonna come to you and down you the way they've been downing you, um, yeah, the bullying does start in school. It does. It starts in school. That's what we're talking about. I'm on YouTube and TikTok at the same time. And so, Mr. Pate, the way I look at it is when they come trying to attack you, it's because you have something of substance that they either want or they don't, or the fact that they know they can't get, or the fact that you to have. They want it for themselves, but they don't want you to have it. So think of it, I wouldn't say think of it as a compliment per se, but keep in mind, thieves do not break into empty houses. You have something of substance. And what it is, they don't want you to have either what they're trying to get or something about you they don't want you to have. But what you're going to do is use that negativity as motivation. Use that. Now, I'm not saying don't keep track of everything they're doing wrong to you, but definitely use that negativity as motivation to say, you know what? It's because of you I'm getting this degree. I have had some stories. I have this one instructor. She wasn't an instructor. She was actually a coworker who was trying to put me down, and she would give me a hard time all the time. And I had said to her, I said, you know what? If she can get her doctorate, then I know I can get my doctorate too. And I thanked her when it was all said and done. I said, you know what? It's because of you I got my doctorate. Because I knew that if you could do it, and it wasn't a compliment to her, but she thought it was, that I could do it because she had no sense. So, yep, yeah, you did. You can't do it better than I would because I might have what they would have to sing. Um, they may have to sing me get ethnic, shall I say? They would have to see me get ethnic, and it wouldn't have been pretty at all. So they agree with him for perfection. That added stress. I'm in Tennessee. So in terms of perfection, yeah, you know what? And that's one more thing I want to say. When it comes to school, make sure you follow that rubric to a T. So if they have a rubric that's attached to the assignment, go get that rubric out, and before you turn it back in, before you turn it in for your grade, make sure that okay, APA is worth this much. Make sure I got my APA right. This is worth this much. Make sure I get all that right as you can. Now, mind you, nobody's perfect and it's okay, but you want to make the best you can. And when y'all submit stuff in the Dropbox, I learned this the hard way too. When you submit stuff in the Dropbox and it says that it's been taken, like it says submitted and has date and time, take a picture of it because sometimes there's glitches in the computer that makes it seem like you submitted it, but they don't see it on their side. And then next thing you know, it's late assignment and you get a 0 or you get a bad grade on it. So always when you submit something in your Dropbox, go ahead where it says submitted that you and it has the date and the time that you submitted, take a picture of it with your phone So that way, if something happens where the instructor says, "I never got your assignment, it was never submitted," you got here's the proof right here. And then that at that point in time, they have to let you submit it. I guess at this point late, and they can still give you credit for it. But if you don't have any proof, they may not let you do that. Good afternoon. How are you doing? South Carolina. Okay, it's going okay. We up here talking about a little bit of everything. I'm in Tennessee, so we were in the South together in this heat. Thank you, Miss Parker. It's good to see you. All right, that's right. You are pursuing your BSW, then you get your nursing degree. So that's right. I forgot about that. Okay, so we're dealing with a different beast. But as you can see, bullying still happens the same way. BSW. So that's probably a female. Is that female dominated profession too in terms of social work? Is that female dominated? I think, Mr. Pate. For those interested in relocating after getting nursing license, would you prefer working? Associates in science. You have an associates in science. Is it a science in nursing, or are you going into nursing from another associate's degree? If you're about to move sometime soon, I'll say relocate, get settled, and then go to work. Okay, so that's part of the issue too. That is a female-dominated profession, just like nursing is. Hey, nurse, Ian, how are you doing? And it's a female-dominated profession. And what, if you don't mind typing in the box, what's the demographic of social work mostly? Your grandmother was a nurse in 1910. Wow. Okay. All right. My pleasure, Zaray. Another, oh, you get another degree. Okay. So are you going to, you have an associate's degree in science. Are you going to nursing? Are you going to get an associate's degree in nursing as well? Or are you going to go get a bachelor's degree in nursing? Can LPNs work as a school nurse? Yeah, they can. hmm You got to find someone who make sure that that's what's required of that school. But I know school nurses who here where I live at, the school nurses are RNs. But I do think you can definitely work as an LPN in school nursing as long as your city, state, or whatever allows you to. But yeah, I know some for school nurses. There's nothing wrong with that if that's what you want to do. As a matter of fact, you have a better calendar in terms of you work when if you have children, you typically work when the kids are working or at school, and you're off when they're off. So I think that helps if that's what you want to do. If you have children, especially, or thinking about having children. BSN. So with the BSN, you already have a associate's degree. Do you already have your prerequisites done already, or are you still working on your prereqs? You sit there, white and white Hispanic. Yeah, that's what it is, Mr. Pate. That's what it is. That's what it is. And unfortunately, Mr. Pate, think of it this way too. This is preparing you for when you come over into nursing. So what you're dealing with in social is preparing you for what you're going to deal with in nursing. You're going to see all this all again. People own location. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. What is my driven girl? Thank you so much. This is my calling. When you learn what your calling is, then you know that there's no such thing as work. Like, I'm not getting paid to do this. I do this because I have a love for nursing. And I really do have a love for nursing, but I have a love for educating those about the ins and outs of how nursing works. And I feel like once you learn how nursing works, the ins and outs, it better helps you navigate your life as a nurse. And it kind of, if you're here for the right reasons and not for money, then and your passion is truly nursing, it helps you stay in nursing longer because you don't get burnt out as quick. You already have your prereqs done. So when do you start nursing school? You just need the nursing classes. So when do you start? Yes, I do. I have Miss Parker. I have a passion for educating. To be honest with you, I get like that's the reason why I'm so excited about Monday Monday's class, I start teaching on Monday, or actually start teaching on Tuesday. But Monday I'll be getting ready for it, and that's the reason why I love it. I get energy. It when I see students come to the classroom, when I see new students come, I have energy. They feed me. They give me the energy that I need to do what I want to do. How do most interns, first year residents act normally? You're talking about the physicians, right? MDs. I find that the first year residents are some of them some of them are full of themselves because of the fact that they are medical doctors, and so they're full of themselves because they think they're beneath, or they think nurses are beneath them. But a lot of times, the first year residents, I'm kind of like, okay, my nursing students know more than you do. So, and that's the honest truth. Sometimes my nursing students know more than some of those residents know. So, I lead discussions in every. Okay, that's what it is. Cattiness got so bad, then groups were being chosen on. Oh, okay, okay, yep, that's what they do. Smart. That tells you, Mr. Pate, they ain't that bright. Smart, I would choose you to be in the group because you asking questions and you know everything. So you dealing with some women who is ignorant. I'm like, we want Mr. Pate in our group because he up here doing all this extra work. If I was smart about it, I would have did that. Not to be using you or nothing like that, but that's what they would do if they want to be like that. Yeah, nursing is great. It has its bad days for sure. But yeah, I mean, keep doing what you do, and you, like I said, you're ready. You're already getting yourself ready. You're getting yourself mentally, emotionally, spiritually ready for when you go to nursing school, because that's what you're going to deal with over there too. And then you'll deal with that too when you go to start working as a nurse on the floor. You'll do. So you're applying to three schools. Um, okay, you're applying to three different schools. Said I was excited for you. They're going to the. Hold on, it's going too fast. I was excited for you. Going too. Um, yeah, they gonna either love me or hate me, Miss Parker, and I'm okay with either one of them. Mr. Pate, you so funny. Yeah, don't do that though. You may feel it, but don't do that. Sometimes you may have to walk away from a situation. Don't be afraid to do that either. Just like, you know what, I'm gonna let y'all have this. Walk away from a situation. But that the thing is, being a male, you're gonna have to watch yourself for females like that because sometimes those women could be the same ones who try to how do I nicely say this? um, say that you're harassing or bothering them inappropriately. So I do understand why you need to tread lightly when it comes to those situations because those women, type of women, would also be the ones who would set you up or try to set you up. Keep that in mind too, especially being a minority. They do that. Miss Parker, like I said, they either gonna love me or hate me. Either way, I'm okay with it. But a lot of times, my students will come back and tell me that they um they hated me in class, but now that they're out, they come back and tell me they really appreciate me after the fact because I was speaking the truth. They just didn't realize it at the time. And so those are the ones that, okay, you know what? I did my job. Education and management. I like education personally, but I think that you have to do what's a good fit for you in terms of where your personality is. You know, you have to be patient in any setting. Keep that in mind. If you go into education and management, either way, you have to be patient with people. Um, but management, the thing with management is make sure that you don't lose yourself in the whole, what am I here for? Because upper management, like your executives and your administrative team, will do or say things that you have to change. You know, you feel like you have to change yourself and you don't want to change yourself. You want to stay true to yourself. You know, find somewhere where you can stay true to yourself in the whole process, wherever that happens to be, whether it be in management or education. If you have a great team above you, that means you can be a great person, which means you'll have a great leadership skills and you'll have a great team beneath you too. To check their ego when they get humbled. So how long does it take when they get humbled? And they'll get humbled because they done did something wrong, or somebody will check them and put them in their place in front of somebody, which I don't recommend. Yeah, I would say get the house in order. I agree. Yeah, I would say get yourself relocated and situated first, and then after that, start working. Yeah, Mr. Pate, they will do that. They will do that. So, and I can tell just by our conversation here that they will do that. So don't. I guess my point is don't be just watch yourself because they will be the same ones that will set you up. So that's why I say if you have to, you didn't hear me say record, but that, whatever you have to do to protect yourself, do that because those kind of women, if they're already doing that and causing a problem where you're at now, they're going to continue to do it. That's what I'm saying. Yep, nurse. Yeah, you're gonna have. We tell them first year residents they just so full of themselves because they got into they done finished medical school and they doing something they think they know more than the nurses because when I see them doing their rounds sometimes my students know more my nursing students know more than they do sometimes. Exactly. Thank you so much, Miss Parker. I'm trying. It's just like I said, we have people who they are just not receptive to the younger generation that we have. Some of the younger ones that we have. Um, Hold on, let me see. So the younger nurses that we have or younger ones we have, a lot of them are a lot of them are not receptive. And I've seen that in my comments. If you look at some of my comments, you'll see that a lot of them are not receptive. But the thing is, Miss Parker, the world will or the hospital will humble them. I'm not gonna worry about it. The hospital will humble them. I'm only here for the people who want to listen. And because I don't get paid for this job. So my job at the at the university, I get paid for that. So they all have to listen. But like I said, I don't get paid for the job. So not for this job, for doing this. So it's like either gonna listen or you're not. If you're not gonna listen, that's fine. You go into that hospital, they're gonna show you. They'll show you in the hospital. And then you're gonna sit back one day and be like, you know what? She was right. She was right. And they're gonna be shown in such a way, it's gonna like I don't say literally bring them to their knees, but it's gonna humble them really quick. And it don't take much. There was somebody who made a comment on here today that made a comment on here today that her second day orientation, she just graduated. 2 days in orientation, they gave her 6 patients. That is ridiculous. You don't give nobody 6 patients 2 days into orientation. Nobody. And that's what the hospital did to her. So they're gonna be humbled real quick. Okay, you said the nursing school is not returning my emails or answering your phones. I need intervention. I was thinking about just changing my major. You have my email address? Yeah, let's talk about it over there. Or if you want to, we could set up Mr. Pate. We could set up a Zoom if you want to do that. You and I can set up a Zoom. So if that's what you want to do, email me and we'll set up a Zoom and talk that way. I would love to meet you. So, whatever you want to do, if you don't feel comfortable doing Zoom, then you can just email back and forth. But once I get to know people, I like to get to know people. So we can set up a Zoom and talk about the situation. Because right now nursing schools are all starting back because I know we have the same complaints of people not answering phones. Nursing schools are starting back and things like that. So anybody who's not in the program, they're kind of pushing off at the moment. So don't take it personal. I think right now you're just going through one of those moments where like everything is going wrong right now. That's because, Mr. Pate, when things are all going wrong, it's because right behind it, something's good about to happen. Wait for it. Something good is about to happen. You're going through your valley right now, and that's okay. We all go through those valleys from time to time. I think I'm going through one right now too. Like Friday was not a good day for me at all. Yesterday was a terrible day for me. But I like, okay, you know what? That means something good is about to come around the corner. So I'm just trying to wait for something good. Um, so yeah. So, but if you want to do a Zoom, we can do a Zoom. All right, let me see. I wish there was too, Miss Parker. Let me say this. I feel like the reason why I do this is because of the fact that I do YouTube as well. It's because of the fact that a lot of nurses want to glamorize nursing, and they glamorize it in a way is that okay, yeah, we can make good money. Don't get me wrong, we can make good money, but do you know what we have to go through to get that money? And they're not showing that side. They're just showing we can make good money, and then people come into nursing thinking I'm going to be taking me a trips to the DR and to Aruba and to Dubai, and okay, what you have to do to get that money, I don't know if it's even worth all that. You can find you another way to make the money to go to all them different places. So I don't want to glamorize nursing to be something that it's not. It is a wonderful profession to be in. I have to say, I think it's a wonderful profession, but I also think that there's a lot that goes into it that people don't realize, and that's the part that I have issues with. That people don't want to deal with those types of things. So, yeah, the way staff treat you're exactly right. Oh, and the cute scrubs. Yes, let's not forget those cute. And I went through that phase too. I went through that phase too where I had my cute scrubs and things like that. But now I'm just trying to be comfortable. That claim is noble. All right, you said so. Good afternoon. I have an average of 3.5 in pre-nursing courses over 3,000 hours. However, I've received in P school. Okay, are they highly competitive school where you're trying to? Don't no no no. Don't give up. No, we're not gonna do that. It's just not meant for you to go to those. It's just not meant for you to go to those schools for some reason. Um, if that's what you want to do, okay. If that's I don't want to Carmela. I'm just gonna use the last part. Don't TikTok. I'm on YouTube. YouTube. I'm on TikTok. I'm doing both of them live. So don't give up, Carmela. What I would say is if you want to do whatever you just said, that kind of medicine, if that's what your passion is, then yes, go there. But if your passion is to be an NP, you find a school that's going to accept you because you have the qualifications. A 3.5, you're qualified. Don't let that. It just means for some reason you're meant to go to a certain school for a certain reason. Do not let that deter you. So if you want to do whatever you just said, um, you want to do your second choice, if that's something you're passionate about, then do it. But if you're not passionate about that and you really want to be an NP, Carmela, that's what you need to do. Be that NP. Just find the school that's right for you. Right now, you haven't found the right school for you yet. Okay, Mr. Pate, I appreciate you. Yeah, just email me and I will set it up for you. Go ahead in the email. Tell me what your availability is, like in terms of dates and times. Now I am working. I am back to work now, but I can still fit in some Zoom meetings next Monday and Tuesday, especially because Monday and Tuesday are my office hours, Mr. Pate. So I can definitely set up something on Monday and Tuesday if you want, or if you want to do something later today, or if you want to do something tomorrow, I can do that too. I can set up a Zoom either today or tomorrow, Mr. Pate. So just let me know either way. Um, my pleasure. My pleasure. Yeah, definitely. Carmela, do what makes you happy. And if it's not the second choice that you put on there, do the first choice. Just find the school that's good for you. It's something about those schools that you shouldn't be there for some reason because your calling is somewhere else, and you won't find that out till later. Let's see the cute scrub. So yeah, it does take a special kind of person to take care of other people, and that's what people don't realize. It's like this is work. This job is work. Um, thank you, Ms. Reynolds. Oops. You don't get a choice. Oh, something. Yeah, he said don't get a choice of scrubs. Miss Reynolds said she's going to her last semester. Good for you. Good for you. Your last semester. So take this last semester and keep pushing. It gets hard towards the end. Keep pushing. Mr. Pate, I'm excited to meet you. So when you send me that email, we can go ahead and so do you actually have my email? Maybe I gave it to you before. They say naturally dope. And then the way the hair sits in the background, it looks like it's actually hair. You know, you can kind of it looks like that. with hair in the background, but it says naturally dope. You said you wish you could start, but if you're not getting the vaccine, yeah, pretty much. You have a good day, Carmela. Have a good day. Thank you for coming by. Don't be discouraged. Keep going, trying to push what you're trying to push for. So, what about a capstone? You talking about the capstone project for your for DMP? For what kind of capstone you talking about? Yeah, if you're not gonna, the thing is, if you're gonna come into healthcare, you almost can almost believe that at some point in time, I feel like we're all gonna have to have it. If you're gonna come into healthcare, at some point in time, I feel like we're gonna have to have it. Uh, Not as a pre-nursing. No, not for pre-nursing. You don't take those. Chemistry depends on the program. Chemistry doesn't depend on the program. Pharmacology you will take in the program. So pharmacology is not a prereq because you take it in the program itself. Chemistry depends on the program that you go to. When I went to nursing school, we took chemistry. I mean, as a prereq, but some schools don't require chemistry. They require mostly A&P 1 and 2. They require sometimes pathophysiology, and they require microbiology in its lab. So typically that's what they require. Okay, good, good. Yeah, definitely email me with something up. You said not trying to argue, but I like your disclaimer. You said I'm not trying to argue, but yeah, I'm sorry, Brandy 86, but I do feel like that's gonna be a that's gonna be the thing. We have some students. Matter of fact, we had some students just the other day when we went to orientation, and they're like, "Well, I'm not planning on getting the vaccine." And we straight up told her on what's today, Saturday. So on Thursday, we straight up told her that if it becomes required to get the vaccine to go to a certain place, you either get it or you get out the program. There is no other option. So yeah, I just feel like spray dot butter. I will say this. I do understand why some people are hesitant. Now, some people are hesitant because I was hesitant because of the fact that we don't have any, and I'm just being honest with you, we do not have any proof of what the long-term outcomes are going to be because they just started giving this shot less than a year ago. That is the issue. Um, that's the issue for me was we have no long-term proof of what the outcomes are going to be. Nobody can tell me. No one can tell us what the outcomes are going to be. So I understand why people are hesitant about it, but at the same time, we still have to make a decision because our life can't go on like this until we find, like for instance, we our jobs are not going to allow us to wait the next 20 years to see what the outcomes are going to be for this vaccine. I think that's just kind of my opinion, or not even 20 years. Let's say even 5 years. No one's jobs are going to let them keep, it's going to keep them from not taking the vaccine for 5 years to figure out what the outcomes are going to be. I'm just simply saying that that's why I see it as why people can be resistant to it. Also in the South, and particularly, um, yeah, if the school requires it, you have to get it. If the clinical site requires it, then your school will require it. Thank you for sharing the video. One thing I was going to say was, like when it comes to all our other vaccines that we have, well, we take all these other vaccines. Okay, but how long has the MMR been out? How long has the Tdap been out? How long has all these shots been out? These vaccines have been out longer than you and all of have been alive. Okay, so we have data that supports the outcomes or the long-term effects of these vaccines. And honestly, all of us have had, or a majority of us have had these vaccines, so we know what the long-term effects are for us. However, no one can tell me, not one person can tell me today, because we don't know today what the long-term effects are going to be from this vaccine. And I think that is the issue that some people have. Now, that's one issue. The second issue is we live in the South. Thank you, Ms. Brandy. I appreciate you. We also live, oh, well, not we. I live in the South, okay? And I live in Tennessee. Hey, how are you doing? And me living in Tennessee, I live close to Alabama. Alabama is where the Tuskegee experiment happened back in the 1930s to the 1970s. The people who were a part of that experiment, most of them are still alive. I won't say they're still alive today because I wouldn't know if they're alive or not, but they are still within a time period that could still be alive today. And no, well, see, they've been okay. So, straight out butter, they have been working. That part is true. They have been working on the vaccine for over 10 years. That is true. But the thing is, they have, in terms of developing it, they have been working on it. It wasn't until for COVID specifically, whoever got the first shot for COVID, that's when we figure out, when we start trying to track and see who, um, that's who we're trying to figure out to see what the long term effects are. We don't know what the long term effects are. That's the issue. It's not the research. The research does say that they've been working on this vaccine for a very long time. That is not the issue for me at all. Okay, I give you all that. But research is one thing, but tell me how it's going to impact us long term. Nobody knows that because we just started getting the shots within the past year. So we could only, when 1 year out happens and somebody says, okay, it's been 1 year. Where are these people at now? Do they have any long term effects since they've had this vaccine? That's when we can start. They're collecting data as we speak. They're still collecting data to find out what's going on with the vaccine in terms of any issues with it. So all I'm saying is that's part of the reason as to why some people are resistant. I can't speak for everybody, sprayed out butter, because I don't know what everybody's situation is. But that's me myself. That's the reason why I was resistant, because of the fact that I'm like, okay, well, I don't know long term outcomes. But at the same time, how long am I going to wait to find that out? We won't know the long term outcomes before anytime soon. So at this point in time, the risk outweighs the cost. So if I sat there and got this vaccine, or got this virus, which I have not had yet, but if I got this virus and it killed me, well, I've sat here and done died trying to figure out what the research is going to do. At least I have something that we're trying to see if it's going to work. And for the most part, the people who are in the hospitals right now, the ones who have been unvaccinated. And so I get it. So like right now, I'm just having to go with the whole notion of, well, what's the cost risk benefit benefactor is what I'm trying to say. So oh yeah, sprayed out, but that's part of the issue with the South. So people who come from the Tuskegee experiment, and if you look at the statistics, Alabama has the least vaccinated. So Alabama has the least vaccinated in terms of full vaccination, and then partially that is partially why, because the people in the South, in Alabama specifically, the ones especially near Tuskegee, um, they're black, and if they're older, like like the 1930s to the 1970s, that means they are probably closer to their 80 something years old, 80s, you know, upper 80s. And then in the 70s, I was born in the 70s, so they're about 50 something years old. Between 50 and 80 something years old are these people. 50 something and 80 something years old are these age. So these people are still alive. So these people remember that experiment. They remember um going through whatever they went through. And if they didn't go through it, their parents went through it. So they remember it. And they're like, So their parents like, we're not getting that vaccine. They're not going to experiment on us. And sprayed out butter, the CDC was a part of that experiment. So if you ever get a chance to go look that whole thing up, go look it up and read about it. And that will help you understand as to why some people, especially in the South, because I live in the South, why they won't get the vaccine. So read about it. It occurred from 1932 to, I want to say, 1930 something to 1970 something, and I want to say 1972 is when it ended. But the CDC was a part of that. So who's a part of this one? The CDC. So you can see why they have some resistance to what people are saying. That's the reason why in the South, especially, this vaccination rates, we not even in Tennessee above 50% yet. I think we're only at 40 something percent, 40% in Tennessee, and we right above Alabama. So the South just sees things differently. Plus the fact that we have more ethnic minorities, especially African Americans, that live in the South. I'm in the South. Oh, you in the South too? Where you at in the South? You down here with us? Okay, where you at in the South? And see, it depends on where you went to school, because some school systems did teach about the Tuskegee experiment, and some didn't. So it depends on where you went to school at. Mississippi's in the house. So see, you in the South South. You below us here in Tennessee. Oh, you just graduated in 2017 in high school. Okay. I was taught the Civil War wasn't about slavery in high school. Wow. Okay, so they really changing that narrative here. Okay. All right. So was let me tell you something, sprayed out butter. We were taught when I grew up. Now I'm much. You just graduated in 2017. I graduated from high school in 1996 from high school, and I grew up. Oh, you published your first book. Congratulations. Um, I I grew up where we were still thinking that Christopher Columbus discovered America. And then it wasn't until so long I'm like, okay, wait a minute. How do you discover some land that people's already inhabiting? How do you discover something? When you discover something, that means nobody's discovered it before. So how are you going to discover something somebody already lived here? So I want to tell you, I say all that to say that your history, what they teaching you in school, they teaching you the history they want you to know. They're not teaching you the correct history. Did you? Okay. And I'm not even mad at you for it. For you said for all the lies. Yeah, they're not teaching. They were not teaching you. You said the Civil War wasn't about slavery. Then what did they teach you was actually about then? If it wasn't about slavery, what was the Civil War actually about? Like, educate me. Or what did they tell you? That's what I'm saying. They teach you what they want you to know. Because, like I said, when we learned back in the day that Christopher Columbus discovered what? What he discovered? He discovered the people's already here. But yet he got credit for it, didn't he? Well, back when I was in school, we actually had a holiday, the Christopher Columbus Day. We actually got that day out of school because we were celebrating that he discovered America. Nope, they don't teach that no more. At least not here. They don't teach it. You said you learned about it at home. I'm in South Carolina. School never taught it. Yeah, school never taught it. Hey Corey, so you said you did an experiment on Tuskegee experiment in nursing school in the last window receiving. Oh, okay. The last widow receiving payments from lawsuit passed in '08 or '09. Okay. Yeah, they paying people. They was paying people on that situation because they knew they was wrong. And that's why people are up here like, well, I wonder why people don't believe in the CDC because the CDC was a part of that experiment as well. Yeah, definitely read about it if y'all don't know what the Tuskegee experiment is. So if you want to know why people around in the South, especially in the South, not wanting to deal with people or not doing this vaccine or the government, they don't believe in all that. That's why. And I wanted to work for the CDC until this. Uh huh. Hmm. I can believe it. Right. The CDC, the Civil War is about the states' rights to own slaves. You're exactly right. Yep. See, that's public. I mean, I can't say you would have got any different kind of education in private schools. Private school is not mandated um under the same governing rules as say public school is. So you would in private school you probably would have learned even less. So they're rewriting history now. That's what they're doing. They're rewriting history now. You learned this in your Masters of Public Health. You learned what about the Tuskegee experiment? Yep, Henrietta Lacks. If y'all don't, okay, I'm glad you brought that up, Corey. If y'all don't know about Henrietta Lacks, that's somebody else that y'all need to go look up. Henrietta Lacks. She was, well, I don't want to give it away, but she was someone else who they actually took her cell. Tell the story goes, Corey. They took her cells and they were without her permission. It was something they were doing. I know the story. I just don't can't explain. I want to make sure I say it right. About Henrietta Lacks. Yep. And Corey, see if you happen to she had cervical cancer. That's right. That's what it was. And they were taking her cells. Wasn't they taking her cells and using and they were still using them for a while and that her I think her family had to sue. And that was recently that her family had to sue. And doing experiments without her permission and the family and something the family I think sued about that. Yeah, so Henrietta Lacks is another one. Yep, it's the cells. Yep, Henrietta Lacks. So read about her, if you know. And so when you hear all these stories about how ethnic minorities were mistreated, you can understand why there's such a distrust in the healthcare system. Is what I'm trying to say, especially for ethnic minorities. It probably is. They're telling you the story that they want you to hear. Oh, okay. Is that how it go? Okay, maybe the story I heard recently, like in the past, say 10 years, I heard the story recently. Another one, Corey C. Do you know who Margaret Sanger is? Do you know who Margaret Sanger is? I talk about her all the time. She's the one who did Planned Parenthood. She's the founder of. She was the founder of Planned Parenthood. Do you know about who she is, Corey C? Yep. Do you know what the true story is behind Margaret Sanger and Planned Parenthood in terms of where they were located? So anybody on here, some of you all may know about Margaret Sanger. She is the mother of. Hey, how are you doing, Christy? She is the mother of. I won't call her the mother of, but she's the founder of Planned Parenthood. And back in the day, you have to do the history and look up the years or whatever. But she was wanting to find a way in which we could prevent back alley abortions, and so we were, and of course, back alley abortions cause you to have increased risk for infection and people dying and carrying on like that. But she would place these Planned Parenthoods, and just so y'all know, Planned Parenthood don't just do abortions; they actually do plan birth control, and they do other kinds of things too. Um, yeah, they did. You're right. But then, so y'all could probably guess where the Planned Parenthood was strategically placed. So they put Planned Parenthood in the same places they put your payday loan places, your liquor stores. You put your buy here, pay here car lots. The same places they put those kind of those things is the same places they put these Planned Parenthoods back in the day because she did not want her, in her words, brown people, black people, um, having babies. So are you talking about are you talking about thank you, Carolyn, for the follow. Are you talking for the eugenics? Are you talking about the Henrietta Lacks? Or are you talking about um, Margaret Sanger? So yeah, it just it just really depends on who what history you're trying to read into, and that's why I say everybody. She said crazy. I have to specify. Oh, Margaret. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I heard he didn't, but I heard he said he didn't say that. I don't know if that's true or not. I heard they said Tommy didn't say that, but I'm not. I mean, it is what it is on that one. You said crazy. You have to specify. Yeah, that's the reason why I'm saying sprayed out butter. That's why I'm saying that we have to. You if you want to know true history, it's not what you learned in school. It's really not what you learned in school. You have to do your own research. You do your own research because just like a lot of things, there's always hidden agendas as to why we do things. So you'll have people who do things for various reasons, and so you're kind of like, okay, well, why are people doing this? Why are people doing that? You really need to check their agenda. Like even with politicians, you need to check as to why people don't do um or people say we're going to do one thing, but there's always a hidden agenda as to what they do. So with Margaret Sanger, same thing for her. She had a hidden agenda. So yes, of course, we want to make sure that people are not having back alley abortions, but that wasn't her true agenda. She just used it underneath that type of, you know, that was her plight to help mankind was to try to make sure that we didn't have these backlay abortions and wanted to help improve the rates of unwanted pregnancies and things like that. But when they're strategically placed in certain locations, then that's not a good thing. So yep, you got to read your history. So that's the reason why yeah, that's the truth. What's it, Carolyn? That's the truth. That's why, so we have to read our history. Read your history because you will learn a whole lot that you didn't learn in school, and it requires us to basically do our own research. Okay, I like that quote. You said is healthcare can be for people or for profit. It can't do both. And right now, Corey is for profit. It's for profit, and it was for profit before COVID, but it's for profit. And as I've done my 17 years in nursing, I've seen it evolve and change the entire time. So I definitely, it's evolved, it's changed so much since I first became a nurse. Nursing used to be truly patient centered care, and then they twisted those words of patient centered care to mean customer service, and that's kind of where we are now. So instead of patient-centered care being the focus, where we actually taking care of our patients, we're educating our patients. Now our patients get to tell us what they want when they want it. Now we have to do patient satisfaction to make sure that we're taking care of our patients and treating them good and things like that. So yeah, I'm over the whole healthcare debacle because of the fact that it's not what people say it is. And then keep in mind we live here in the States, United States, and you live in here in the United States, and we happen to be a wealth country, supposedly. We wealthy, but at the same time, truth be told, um, our patient outcomes don't reflect that. So when your patient outcomes don't reflect the fact that you are a wealthy country, and our patient outcomes reflect a third world country, that's a problem with that. The ratios are changing. I believe that because I remember when I came into nursing, the ratios were 1 to 6. The ratios were 1 to 6 when I came into ratio for my area. I do OB. It was 1 to 6 for postpartum, and now people are telling me that they are getting 8 patients easily prior to COVID. 8 patients prior to COVID, and some people getting 10, 11, 12. Due to the changes and due to the nurses moving away from bedside. So somebody asked me earlier, did I think there was a shortage in nursing, a nursing shortage? I don't believe there's a nursing shortage because we run 4 million strong with new nurses coming out all the time. The thing is, how many of us are still at the bedside? We're not really trying to do that no more. Once we learn how it really go, we're not really trying to do that. And again, for those of you on YouTube, I'm on TikTok as well. I'm doing live on both. So live on both TikTok and YouTube today. So that's why I'm looking over here, looking both directions. Not to go into nursing. What's the reason? Because it's for profit. Because it's for profit. Because if that's the case, yeah, I mean that's true. But you know what? I can't think of no industry that's really not for profit. Because everything has to make money somehow, some way. It's really in how you treat the people who work for you, as well as you treat your customers. Which, and keep in mind, um, yeah, you're right. It's not on helping patients. I get that. I agree with you on that. Um, I remember when patients used to be called patients, and they're called clients now. Now the verbiage is clients. We call them clients now. They're not. I still call them patients, but the verbiage is now clients. Right. There ain't no nursing shortage. Right. There's people, and people are not. People are like, you know what? And this is another thing too. If they're gonna be treated bad, right? If people are gonna be treated bad, they're figuring I'd rather be treated bad and make more money than to stay here for the pennies and being treated bad. So if I got to put up with crap either way, we're gonna go over to um we're gonna go to the travel nurses or go to the agency nurses or whatever and make more money to put up with the same mess. Yeah, it's client. I mean, I still call them patients. Your old school nurses will call them patients, but they're actually called clients now. Yep, it's the customer service focus. You're exactly right. They're called clients now. They're not even called patients anymore. They call them clients. And as you know, a client is someone who you do business with. Clients are who you do business with. When you go buy a car, when you go buy a house, when you go do different things, you have clients or customers. When you go buy, clothes, it's called customer service. Customers. When you go to a restaurant, you are a customer because you're purchasing something. Clients also typically do business with you. So when you are doing business at the hospital, because I'm a patient, I'm sick, or I need to be tended to, I'm actually a client because of the fact that I'm paying you to take care of me. And that's exactly, their room and board is what pays us nurses. So when you work at the hospital as a nurse, your money that you get paid, your salary comes from the patient's room and board. That's how you get paid, from the room and board. So always to you all, make sure you understand that physicians bring in the money, Nurses take the money out because they got to pay our salaries, our 401ks, our pay, PTO, sick leave, whatever else we got to get paid for. Let's see. I know you. Thank you so much. Thank you. Pay me more for more mess. Yeah, if I got to put up with the mess, pay me more for the mess. That's exactly what I think of it too. Yeah, they're calling not everybody. I mean, some places you go to, they do call patients, but you will start if you haven't heard that, you will hear them being called clients now instead of patients. Our clients are this like whatever. In a hospital setting, they make say patients, but yeah, they're different because it's customer service now. That's all it's about, customer service. Good, good, good. Okay, I understand. You say your education is on healthcare management. Okay. You said that's why we need more educators like you to tell the truth so we can advocate for ourselves. Yes, yes, yes. I mean, I teach what I have to teach when I go to work. I teach what I have to teach when I teach my nursing students. But Corey, I'm also the person who teaches the truth, the reality. So, like for instance, if we've been talking about Margaret Sanger, we've been talking about Henrietta Lacks. We've been talking about the Tuskegee experiment. These are things that when I went to nursing school, they didn't teach us in nursing school. I never knew. I didn't even know that Mary Mahoney was a nurse. They didn't teach us the school I went to didn't even teach us about the minority contribution to nursing. They did not teach us the men's contribution to nursing. They only taught us Florence Nightingale as if she was the end all do all for nursing, and we all know she ain't, or she wasn't. Sorry, but Florence Nightingale was not for minorities in nursing, and she was not for men in nursing either. So, like, let's talk about the truth of what's really going on. So, it's nothing wrong with students knowing about who Florence Nightingale was. But let's go ahead and add in there Jesse Scales, the truth behind, Florence, the truth behind Margaret, the truth behind some of these people that's not. And you wondering why today we have race issues in nursing? It was rooted in race issues. That's why we have issues in nursing. It was rooted that way. We've always had issues like this. So, I'm always going to tell the truth, and I can more so the truth here than I can in my classes. I mean, but I work at HBCU, so I tell them the truth about everything. Um, yeah, I tell them the truth. I work at HBCU, so I have a little bit more academic freedom, shall I say, to talk about the truth behind healthcare while you're still advocating for the people to take care of our patients and things like that, and help people understand why we don't. Sometimes we are the ones we don't want certain people around, or why. Right, vitamin D. You're right. Go outside. I mean, and then not only that, it cures a lot. Vitamin D going outside in the sun actually helps your mood. Anything that it helps your mood when you have when you actually in the sun, it lifts your mood. That's why we have seasonal affective disorder in the wintertime. Sad because of the fact that we don't have as much sunlight. It impacts our mood. If you have a rainy day, sometimes you're not in the best mood that day. Nothing's wrong with you. You're just not in a good mood. When that sun is out, go out there and get to that sun, you feel better. We had to teach ourselves. That's why I took my time. Yeah, we do have to teach ourselves. Yep, we do. I've had to teach my kids about different things that they're not learning in school, or that they're learning in one way in school. They're like, nah, that's not exactly how it went down. Um, so yeah, so I'm gonna have to go to Tuskegee too. History is important, Corey. It's very important. I just feel like we have to. How do we know we're going if we don't know where we came from? How do we know where we're going if we don't know where we came from? Think about that. How do we know? We don't. We don't. So I like to teach the truth. Like, this is where we came from. We came from this, and you want to know why it's so important for minorities to be represented in nursing? Because we were never meant to be here. But yet our people have to be taken care of. And the best people to take care of our people is our people. And that's just being 100% truthful with you. Right. You said delete from history? You're absolutely right. I was saying earlier, I don't know if you were here when I was saying it, but I was saying earlier how, I was taught, I'm 43. So I was taught that, Christopher Columbus discovered America. A lot of us were taught that, right? But then we were so brainwashed to believe it, right? And when he arrived to America, he saw these people sitting up here, already sitting here, the Native Americans sitting up here. So then we still don't understand, like, okay, well, how you discover something? There's already people sitting here. Make it make sense. So you didn't discover nothing. You found people was already sitting here, so that means you discovered the Native Americans who discovered who's already here. That's why they're native. And so that's what I'm saying. Our history teaches us, our classes that we go to school teach us a whole lot of lies or misnomers or abbreviated truths. And we're like, okay. And we up here believing it and telling the same story to our kids. Then you realize, like, wait a minute, that don't make no sense. So our whole history based off of lies. American history, as we know it, American history is based off of a lot of lies that people don't want to acknowledge. We were having a discussion about Abraham Lincoln in one of my videos, probably about a month or so ago now, and they were saying what he was trying to do. He was trying to free the slaves. Da, da, da. Okay, that just because he was doing something that somebody wanted him to do, don't mean he wanted to do it. Don't mean you did something for us. Don't mean you was for us. Yes, we do. We do. And that's the reason why I got my doctorate. That's the reason why I'm an educator, because I want to be the one who looks at me, someone who looks at me and says, okay, you know what? Before, I never met a black nurse when I was coming up. I never seen a black nurse before. So, I said, well, let me be something for somebody else that I ain't never seen before. The fact that if something was reached first and they saw black. Yeah, yeah. Okay, well, yeah, you taught me something, but I'm just saying, how Christopher gonna come over here and say he done discovered something he ain't discovered. Yes, yes, yes. So keep in mind, yep, Joseph. So keep in mind, back in the day, we had let me charge my phone. Back in the day, we had so the lady, I don't remember her name because I'm not good with names, but she invented the very first sanitary belt. So what we know of today as like pads and things like that. She invented it, right? And when she went to get it patent, hold on. When she went to go get it patent, she it's on this side. When she went to get it patent and they came to her house, discovered that she was black, they wouldn't allow her to patent it. So what they did was wait for 20 years for the patent to run out, basically. And then of course they took her idea and sold it as their own. And that's kind of how that got patent. Like that's what I'm saying. Like and then of course she didn't get credit for it. And that's what they did. They discovered she was black and realized, okay, nope, we don't want her to have credit for this. So they just waited till the patent ran out and took the idea and went from there. Right. That's why they don't want theory taught in history. I mean, in school. Right. Lincoln was because of the real Bible always opposite of slavery. Hey, how you doing? Unfortunately, they're not wanting critical race theory to be taught, so that's what we're going to do with our kids. Right. They did steal the patents. You're right. Hey, from Alabama. You're a radio TV host and a minister. Okay. I appreciate you for stopping in. Right. And the thing is, we make an assumption that the person who invented is the one who patented. And in a lot of situations, that's not the truth. Do that. Keep on educating your children. Keep on educating your children. And then we're wondering why children have the issues they have because of the fact that they're not being taught. They're not being taught. We have to teach our babies. Yes, they don't. They don't see color. They don't at all. They don't at all. They have to be taught it. And that's when you see what purity looks like. Purity looks like when you children literally do not see it. They just see someone like they look a different shade than they do. But for all they know, they we all the same color. They don't begin to realize it until we point it out. They don't realize color until we point it out that they are whatever tone you want to come up with. They don't realize it. They just see that somebody they want to play with. That they want to play. What do you want? Okay. So, I mean, I don't, I mean, I'm like, I want my kids to learn that whoever, yes, that's the name. Thank you. That's the name. Is that the lady? She was black, right? She invented it, but okay. But is that the one who, it was the sanitary belt at first I thought that they invented, and then it was become the modern day pad that we use. It was a sanitary belt that the person, anyway, it was patented by someone else after the fact. I was surprised when everyone was amazed made it to the end. Yep. Go ahead. Always one or two winners that made. Yeah, that's how it is. Only it's always like that. They weed out. Corey. I know that even when the truth is right in front of people, they're not going to believe it. Yes, Kishay, you're exactly right. They don't believe it. You could sit there and have, I don't know what you have to have. It could be you right. They don't believe it. But they're being taught wrong. Okay. Yes. Yeah. Okay. I get it. You right. You right. Hold on just a minute. Hold on just a minute. All right. Sorry about that. I'm teaching my niece that black, brown, white is beautiful. Yep. Everybody's beautiful. You're right. Made in his image. Made in his image. But I just really wish we could, that's why I said history. We have to know our nursing history too. That's the reason why when in nursing school I teach nursing history, true nursing history. I talk about how men, were came into nursing, and the fact that men, um, again, were looked at as the help. They were never looked at to be a true nurse. They were looked at to be like what we see on TV when we look at these psych movies, or the orderlies, or the one who the men are always being used for their strength. Can you come help turn the patient? Can you come help lift the patient? Can you do this? I can't reach it. Can you do that for me? That was the role that what's her name, Florence Nightingale, wanted for men in nursing. It was never to do what we have them to do now in terms of working beside us. In terms of what I think about it, I just feel like that eventually that we're all going to have to eventually have the vaccine. I feel like I understand as to why people are leery of getting it versus people who are not leery of getting it. People are talking about the research behind it and on and on and on. The research is the fact that they've been working on the vaccine, but we don't have research about what the outcomes are. So that kind of lends to why people are hesitant to get it, and things like that. So I think that, and then we were talking. What brought this conversation up? We were talking about the Tuskegee experiment. In fact, that I live in the South, and the Tuskegee experiment is one of the reasons why you will find that African Americans, specifically older ones, are hesitant um, to get that vaccine, this COVID vaccine, because the CDC is the one who was part of the Tuskegee experiment, and the Tuskegee and the CDC is also part of this one. So people are not really wanting to. So I do see why people are hesitant about it. I'm not gonna lie to you. I know why they're hesitant about it. Different reasons for different people, but that's kind of where we are. Keep denying the need they. So I just think that different strokes, different folks. But I do feel in the nursing profession specifically that eventually we're gonna have to, even the military is being made to get it. 5 to 6K negative health reactions global out of 4 billion doses. Okay. You said they've silenced the family of the dead. Are we speaking of the Are we speaking of the COVID one? The family of the COVID people who passed? What's RCT? I probably know what it is, but I don't know what it is. Hey, Nurse Adrian. Today we talk about the same stuff we talked about yesterday. We talking about the vaccine and things like that. And I've been and Nurse Adrian, just so you know, we've been talking about too. Um, okay, we've also been talking about as well as to why some people are hesitant about it. And I've been telling them or saying to them that I live in the South, I live in Tennessee, and hey Skywalker, how you doing? I've been telling them about. Oh, okay. I knew what CRT was, critical racial theory. Yeah, yeah. I think it should be taught. I think it should be taught. I think everybody needs to know the truth. I think everybody needs to know everybody's history, the true history. So I do, yeah, that I do know what that is. I do think they need to be taught the true history. We were talking about that just a few minutes ago. Um, about why it should be taught because we were talking about all the lies that were told and things like that. But Nurse Adrian, we were also talking about the fact of why, due to the Tuskegee experiment and due to just different things like that, as to why some ethnic minorities may not be receptive to getting that vaccine, especially since that incident happened back in the 1930s to 70s, and that these people